Taifa.
All right, it is 9 o'clock on the nose, and thank you for joining us on today's installment of TV47 Prime. My name is Debarl, and I trust you had a good day. And of course, also joining me on the sign language desk is Catherine Simaloy. We begin with our first story, where the government has escalated its crackdown on payroll fraud in the public service. Public Service Cabinet Secretary Geoffrey Ruku has handed over payroll audit reports to the Directorate of Criminal Investigations (DCI), paving the way for criminal investigations into alleged irregularities uncovered during a nationwide audit. The move follows a cabinet directive aimed at cleaning up the public service payroll and protecting taxpayers' money. Our reporter Suzanne Locho starts us off.
After years of concerns over ghost workers, bloated payrolls and unexplained salary payments, the government is taking the fight from audit reports to criminal investigations.
In the Republic of Kenya, which is also a constitutional.
The Public Service Cabinet Secretary Geoffrey Ruku has handed over the payroll audit reports and forensic findings to the Directorate of Criminal Investigations following a cabinet directive to investigate suspected payroll fraud across the public service.
I'm here today to formally hand over the payroll audit document to the Director General of the Directorate of Criminal Investigations. This marks the commencement of the investigative processes on matters requiring criminal investigation, as identified in the audit findings.
Ruku says the government payroll is the backbone of public financial management, warning that any abuse of the system undermines fiscal discipline and erodes public trust.
We have formed payroll audit teams in each and every state department. And this is the case also. We will do the same in all county governments in the Republic of Kenya.
The investigations stem from an independent payroll audit and a multi-agency forensic review that uncovered serious weaknesses in payroll management.
We are starting with 12 state departments, which the report is ready, that we can be able to pinpoint. There are some irregularities which happened here and there. It's for the DCI to know whether it's criminal or not.
May I let my colleagues know that you may never find a ghost worker in any government office. They are not physically present. They may be faceless. Those ghost workers may just be domiciled in the systems which pay our salaries.
Beyond the investigations, the government is rolling out sweeping reforms, including enhanced payroll systems, continuous staff verification, the establishment of payroll audit unit across ministries, and tighter internal controls to seal loopholes. The DCI says investigators will follow the evidence wherever it leads and ensure that anyone found responsible is brought to justice.
That anybody found capable, culpable regardless of their position or status, will be brought to book in accordance with our law, and that we shall leave no stone unturned.
With the audit files now in the hands of detectives, the government message is unmistakable. Those feeding off fraudulent payrolls could soon be answering to the law. Susan Locho for TV47, Nairobi.
Now, questions continue to emerge over this year's university placement results after thousands of top-performing KCSE candidates failed to secure admission into certain courses despite attaining grades that would ordinarily qualify them for the programs. As concerns mount, the Kenya Universities and Colleges Central Placement Service, KUCCPS, says placement into highly competitive programs, particularly medicine, was determined not by the overall KCSE grade alone, but by performance in specific cluster subjects. Andrea Kilemi now explains the new placement criteria used by KUCCPS to determine the 2026 university admissions.
Months of anxious waiting for more than 900,000 2025 KCSE candidates came to an end Wednesday after KUSPS released the 2026 university and college placement results. But for thousands eyeing medicine, top KCSE grades were still not enough to secure admission, as over 5,000 applicants were locked out of the program due to capacity.
It is not true that the student numbers have gone down. In fact, they've gone up. Last year, the admission to universities was at around 185,000. We are now at 202, and that is an increment.
According to the placement agency, applicants were ranked according to their cluster weights before being considered for placement.
The students who got A alone and A straight and A minus come to about 6,500. The available spaces were 702. For all the universities, both private and public. So it's not every student who got an A or A minus and applied to go to do medicine that got it, because the cluster of the weighting, the cluster weights of the subjects differs. So that is how the ranking was done.
Only placed students to the universities they select. Previously, we would get students and if we have students who have not made any selection, they would be shared into programs. Now we do not do that anymore.
Of the 980,535 candidates who sat the 2025 KCSE examination, 268,729 attained a mean grade of C+ and above, qualifying them for degree courses. However, only 202,133 secured degree placements, while a further 8,915 students who qualified for university opted for TVET and other non-degree courses. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Education has announced the extension of the inter-university transfer window beyond the usual 2 weeks to allow students adequate time to change institutions and programs where necessary. Andrin Kilemi, TV47.
A high-profile legal team has stepped in to represent the police officer accused of shooting and killing Cecil Ullman during a political rally in Nairobi. Police Constable Rashid Ocharo appeared before the Makadara Law Courts as investigations into the incident continue. Faith Wagari has more.
Him, public officer, and being a police officer, and knowing the law and respecting the law, perhaps then you can just release him from tribunal.
The police, attached to Principal Secretary for Youth Affairs Fikirini Jacobs, has hired a high-profile legal team as detectives continue investigating him over the fatal shooting of Cecil Ullman during a Nairobi political rally. Police Constable Rashid Sharo, who is out on a 20,000 shilling personal bond, appeared before a magistrate at Makadara Law Court, where prosecutors said investigations are ongoing. Sharo is being investigated for the murder under Section 203 and 204 of the Penal Code and is represented by lawyer Dunstan Omari and Cliff Mbeta.
The bodyguard trying to pull him out because he had entered in between the bodyguard and the PS. The door was yanked open from the outside, and some of the youths who had caught up with the motor vehicle tugged at the collar of Charo, the bodyguard, pulling him out by force, yanking him into the ground, and then some youths now. Remember, prior to that, the stones were being thrown, so it was a dangerous situation.
Detectives allege that Sharo fired the shot that killed the 29-year-old Cecil Ullman on June 30th.
He discharged a few rounds. Probably 5-6. One of the rounds is the one round that got the deceased.
However, Sharo's defense maintains that he acted in self-defense while protecting the principal secretary from what they described as imminent threat. The defense further argues that the matter could proceed through a public inquest before any charges are determined. The case will return to mention in August.
Gari ilifanyiwa utafiti forensics, hakuna damu ndani ya gari. Gari iliangaliwa, kwa hivyo kitendo kilifanyika nje. Vile Cliff amesema, risasi ilipigwa ule bodyguard akiwa ameangushwa chini.
Elsewhere, Ceciloma's family, still grappling with grief, says they have lost confidence in getting justice for their kin as long as Fikirini Jacob still remains in government.
When Dr. Fikiri is still there, nothing can go on very well. Nothing can go on.
The family says it has not yet set a burial date as they await justice.
We still don't have anything arrangement to deal with burial or anything pertaining Cecil's death. Until that time, we'll be hearing that Mr. Jacob has resigned.
So that I would be peaceful if I know how he was killed and why he was killed.
Faith Wangari, TV47.
The Environment and Land Court in Meru has halted the public participation exercise for the proposed construction of an airstrip at Upper Imenti Forest, a project that would occupy 11 hectares. However, the exercise turned chaotic after popular Meru artist Kamanu Mutamwari was whisked away by Kenya Forest Service officers. Stanley Yarangita reports.
A public participation forum on the proposed construction of an airstrip in Imenti Forest was disrupted by chaos on Wednesday at the ASK Meru showground after environmental activist and popular Meru artist Kamanu Mtuamware was heckled and forced out by a section of residents opposed to his views against the project. After his submissions, Kamanu, a vocal critic of the development on environmental conservation grounds, was heckled and shouted at. The situation became tense, prompting security officers to escort him away to prevent further confrontation. The meeting later resumed, with residents invited to present their views on the proposed project. Local leaders and a section of residents expressed support, arguing that the development will boost the local economy, improve infrastructure and create jobs.
We are not here to impose a project on you or in this forest. We are here as partners.
Hata wakienda pandi hii ya juu, unajua miti inaonekana tu hapa mbele, huko nyuma msitu hakuna.
President wetu ndiye ametuletea kitu. Sasa tuachilie mambo yetu yende.
However, other residents and stakeholders raised concerns about the project's potential environmental impact on Imenti Forest, while also questioning the integrity of the public participation process.
Sisi kama watu wa Kidhoka, we are very disappointed by hiyo thought ya destroy our forest, because currently we are having challenges about water. Maji huko haitoshi, inakuja in shift.
So what we are here doing today is a public participation that was organized by Kenya Forest Service, but this is happening way after the development already kicked off. Ideally, this is a process that should happen before any work starts on ground. But what we've seen, trees have been felled already.
According to the Kenya Forest Service, KFS, members of the public and stakeholders are required to submit their written views and recommendations on or before the 21st of July. However, the Meru Environment and Land Court has halted the public participation process. Justice Ogutu Mboya has extended the conservatory orders against the proposed projects, with the matter scheduled for mention on the 21st of July. Stanley Nyaringita, TV47.
Let's turn the crack now to politics, where ODM leader Oburu Oginga has urged President William Ruto to embrace the idea of a benevolent dictator, arguing that strong leadership is needed to overcome political opposition and advance the government's development agenda. Oburu made his remarks at State House, Nairobi, where President Ruto assented to the Sovereign Wealth Fund bill into law. The new law seeks to shield Kenya's economy from financial shocks, fund strategic projects, and build wealth for future generations.
The historic signing into law of the Sovereign Wealth Fund bill saw ODM leader Oburu Oginga praise President William Ruto for his efforts to strengthen Kenya's economy, while urging the president to be a benevolent dictator in order to confront what he described as toxic politics that he says is undermining the president's economic transformation agenda.
Always coming to put pressure on government not to move. And sometimes then there is too much democracy. There should be some little benevolent dictatorship so that some things can move.
The landmark law establishes a sovereign wealth fund built on 3 pillars: a stabilization fund to cushion the economy against global financial shocks, a development fund to finance key infrastructure and development projects while creating jobs, and a future generations fund to be known as the Urithi Fund, which will invest revenues from oil and mineral resources for the benefit of future generations.
The Sovereign Wealth Fund will belong not to my administration, but to the Republic of Kenya. It will be managed according to the law, our constitution, and the enduring interests of the Kenyan people. The Act provides for independent professional management, strong parliamentary oversight, and transparent public reporting and robust auditing. Every shilling must be accounted for. Every decision must be guided by prudence. Every investment must be measured by the legacy it leaves for future generations.
The Sovereign Wealth Fund is the second major fund under the government's bottom-up economic transformation agenda after the Kenya National Infrastructure Fund, which was launched in March this year. President Ruto said the fund, which has been praised as a sustainable model for managing national wealth, draws inspiration from successful sovereign wealth funds in countries such as Norway and Botswana.
We will support you as you lead us to transforming our country and doing the heavy lifting that we need to do so that the Kenya of tomorrow can be better than the Kenya of today.
President William Samoei Ruto will go down in history as the most reform-minded and transformative president that this country has ever had and probably will ever have. And you know, when you want to transform a country or any system, you must disrupt it. So what we are seeing is actually disruption that is positive and progressive.
Passage of this bill in the National Assembly is a milestone for the 13th Parliament. I'm proud that it has happened at the time when yours truly is the Speaker of the National Assembly of our country.
The launch comes as Kenya prepares to commercialize oil production in Lokichar, Turkana County, and expand the exploitation of the country's mineral resources. Apul Kamau, TV47.
A constitutional petition has been filed at the Milimani Law Courts seeking to ban National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula and the Senate Speaker Amason Kingi from participating in partisan political campaigns while holding office. The petition, filed by Vocal Africa through advocate Ian Motiso Mbotela, alleges that the two speakers have violated the constitution by using their offices to campaign for President William Ruto's 2027 re-election and promote the Kenya Kwanza coalition.
A case that could set a significant legal precedent is putting the impartiality of the two heads of the country's bicameral parliament under scrutiny. Court documents cite a series of political events held between June and July, where National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula and Senate Speaker Amason Kingi are accused of urging Kenyans to support the ruling coalition.
Sisi tunasukuma gurudumu ya Ruto kwa sababu tuko partners na yeye. 2027 two term, 2032 ni sisi.
This particular petition seeks to actually put into question as to whether the parliament is indeed independent. If it is indeed independent, why do we have the Speaker of the National Assembly and the Speaker of the Senate participating in political events?
Mimi siwezi na sitarudi nyuma hapa kutafuta kiti ya useneta au ya ubunge au ya ugavana. Mimi naenda wapi?
The petitioner argues that while both speakers are entitled to hold personal political views, the constitutional offices they occupy demand neutrality and should not be used to advance partisan political interests.
It's so shameful for the National Assembly Speaker to campaign in Eldoret, seeking that members of the public should vote for the president. And he's saying two-term. This cannot be acceptable.
That anyone holding public office, particularly leaders of public institutions, must respect and adhere to the Constitution and the rule of law.
The case comes amid growing scrutiny over early political campaigns in Kenya, with public officials and state officers facing criticism over political mobilization years before the next general election. Critics argue that such activities risk undermining public confidence in state institutions and raise concerns of the possible use of public resource for political purposes.
Mheshimiwa Weta, Baba wa Roma. Sasa ikiwa huwezi kukubali viongozi wafike waongee na watu wa Chwele na wewe ni national leader, hiyo ni sura gani ambayo unapeana kama kiongozi?
The petition seeks orders barring Wetangula and Kingi from engaging in partisan political campaigns while serving in their respective offices. It also wants investigations by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission and the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission into the alleged violations of the Constitution and electoral laws. For TV47, I'm Linda Alela.
Now, former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has launched a fresh attack on President William Ruto's administration, accusing it of economic sabotage and targeted corruption. Addressing a consultative meeting in Wamunyoro, Gachagua claimed the government is targeting cooperative sector savings to fund what he termed, quote-unquote, budgeted corruption projects. He urged SACCO members to resist the move while alleging state-sponsored efforts to dismantle businesses and public institutions such as New KCC.
Hata wale wako karibu na yeye ameanza kukula hawa. Sasa amekula Wambui, wewe Ichung'wa, ngojea. And you know, hiria inajirudia. History is repeating itself. Moi alisaidiwa na Charles Jonjo. Akasaidiwa na Gigi Kariuki. Akasaidiwa na Mwai Kibaki. Si Jonjo ndiye alikuwa mtu ya kwanza Moi kukula. Jonjo akamsaidia, akiingia akakula Charles Jonjo. Akakula Gigi Kariuki. Akakula Mwai Kibaki. History is repeating itself. Ruto alipoingia mtu ya kukula ya kwanza ni Rigiji. Si ndio? Si nilimsaidia akakuwa rais. Mimi ndio nilikuwa mtu ya kwanza kukula. Akakula Mithika Linturi. Akakula Justin Muturi. Nyinyi akina Mwangi Kionjuri, akina Ichung'wa muko kwa laini. Atakula nyinyi yote, hakuna mtu atabaki.
Kiharo Member of Parliament Ndindi Nyoro has criticized the government over the sale of its Safaricom shares, alleging the stake was disposed of below market value, costing taxpayers billions of shillings. The lawmaker is calling for investigations into transaction, claiming there may have been price manipulation before the sale. Josh Onsari has more.
The push and pull over the government sale of its Safaricom shares is far from over.
Hii jambo si jambo tunafaa kuiona na macho ya kisiasa. Hii ni mali yetu kama wa Kenya, ambayo ni hisa bilioni 6.
Speaking on the matter, Kiharo Member of Parliament Ndindi Nyoro has maintained that public assets must be managed in a manner that protects the interest of Kenyans. Nyoro says he had consistently opposed the government's decision to sell its stake in Safaricom.
It is very clear there has been price manipulation, there has been price suppression, pending the money-changing hands.
Nyoro alleged that the government completed the transaction last week after receiving payment from the buyers, despite what he described as a sale conducted below market value.
That after the closure of that transaction last week, just days after that, Now Safaricom share price is trading way above the 34 Kenya shillings, even touching Kenya shillings 36 yesterday and even today.
The legislator called on the Nairobi Securities Exchange and the Capital Markets Authority to investigate all Safaricom share trades carried out over the past 8 months. He claimed there may have been price manipulation and a deliberate suppression of the share price ahead of the transaction.
It is also clear that we undersold our most prized asset. Na hatuwezi nyamaza, na hatuwezi sema ati imeisha. All the tools on the table must work so that this transaction is annulled and a proper process that fetches the optimal amount for our country is initiated.
The transaction proceeded despite an ongoing court challenge. Opposition leaders, including Kalonzo Musyoka, have vowed to appeal the Court of Appeal's decision and take the matter to the Supreme Court. Meanwhile, the substantive constitutional petition remains before the High Court, which could ultimately determine the legality of the sale and, if it finds the transaction unconstitutional, order that it be reversed. Joash Onsare, TV47, Nairobi.
Now, with just days to the All-Kalau Parliamentary by-election, security agencies and the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission say preparations have been completed to ensure a free, fair and peaceful poll. The electoral body has reminded candidates that campaigns will officially end on Monday evening, while security officials have dismissed allegations of planned vote rigging. They have assured residents that measures are in place to protect the process and warned that anyone disrupting the election or inciting violence will face the law.
Currently, we are finalizing on the training of poll officials. We are currently handling the presiding officers and the deputy presiding officers. And in 2 days' time, we'll deal with the clerks. Now, the campaign period ends on the 13th, that Monday. So at 5 p.m. on Monday, all campaigns must end as per the law, so that now Tuesday and Wednesday it will all be quiet.
Wajitokeze kwa wingi kupiga kura kwa sababu hiyo ni haki yao. Lakini wakipiga kura wapatie IBC na vikosi vya usalama nafasi ili waweze kufanya kazi zao. Mambo wengine kusema tunalinda votes, hakuna kulinda votes. Votes zinalindwa na wale ambao wamekuwa deployed.
Now, former ICT Cabinet Secretary Eliud Owalo has entered the political arena with the launch of the People's Prosperity Party PPP, as he seeks to mount a presidential bid in next year's general election. During the party launch at Ustawi House headquarters, Owalo said his political vehicle will focus on freeing Kenyans from high taxes, public debt, corruption and wastage, which he described as a new era of economic transformation. Owalo insisted he is not aligned to any existing political formation, saying he represents a fresh alternative for Kenyans.
Gania katiba hii ya nchi hii.
Kenya needs a fresh start. We need to go back to factor things and start afresh. And that fresh start, in my view, has to be anchored on the third liberation agenda that will facilitate economic emancipation of the Kenyan people. And that is why I'm seeking a fresh term as the President of the Republic of Kenya. I thank you all for allowing me to present my vision. Talk to any Kenyan, irrespective of tribe, race, creed, or religion. Kenyans will tell you that they don't have money in their pocket and they are struggling to put food on the table. And we don't need to be rocket economists to fix this. It just requires basic economics. Why is it that people don't have money in their pocket? It's because of a punitive taxation regime. We are dealing with a tax regime that does not recognize the level of disposable income of the people.
Right, coming up to a station break. Don't go away, much more coming up on the other side of the break. By the way, also I should just prime you that we'll be holding court with Dr. Martin Olo, who's an advocate of the High Court. Also we'll be joined by Professor Gitile Naituli, who is a professor and also an expert on governance and policy. And we'll be joined by Brian Wake, who is a lawyer and also activist at the Linda Mwananchi, and also we'll be joined by Fred Okango, a strategic advisor. We'll take a short break. When we circle back, of course, we continue with the news, and we'll buckle down to that particular discussion on looking at the lay of the land as far as politics is concerned. Don't go away.
It is a system, ni venye tu ni system haisikizi.
And what happens if something you haven't chosen enters your day?
Then you move it.
That's not always going to be possible here.
Then you are going to have a problem.
Noted.
What are you planning? To escape from a resort?
This is not a resort, my friend. This is a storage.
You have to be very careful. Fake money can kill business.
Na leo mkorada yangu.
Small money, kapesa kadogo, big behavior.
I only have big notes.
Alikuwa anatafuta courage.
Yani nafaje kutengeneza kachumbari na manyanya zinakaa hivi? Ona, kiki ni kama kiwaru.
Hiyo inaitwa commitment to the lie. Amejicommit.
Ndio hiyo. Mpatie.
Unajua kama una mtu kitu, hata tu salamu ya kawaida inakaa kama reminder.
Habari yako?
Sintalipa kesho.
Kesho gani when?
Si kesho ya kesho ya tomorrow.
Hiyo time. Mzee ni budi nikamchoka.
Ni budi ni madeni.
Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m.
You have to be very careful. Fake money can kill business.
Na leo mkorada yangu.
Small money, kapesa kadogo, big behavior.
I only have big notes.
Alikuwa anatafuta courage.
Yani nafaje kutengeneza kachumbari na manyanya zinakaa hivi? Ona, kiki ni kama kiwaru.
Hiyo inaitwa commitment to the lie. Amejicommit.
Ndio hiyo. Mpatie.
Unajua kama una mtu kitu, hata tu salamu ya kawaida inakaa kama reminder.
Habari yako?
Sintalipa kesho.
Kesho gani when?
Si kesho ya kesho ya tomorrow.
Hiyo time. Mzee ni budi nikamchoka.
Ni budi ni madeni.
Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on TV47. Sundays at 8:30 p.m.
Good morning.
You have my rent?
Leo jioni kama tutakuwa tumelipa rent, nauza hii simu yako.
Hamna pesa.
I need you to make my nails today.
Sasa hivi natuhusu aje?
Can I order now? Do you ship? Can I get blinking ones?
Mimi nilikuwa na
Welcome back. A deadly Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo has claimed more than 500 lives, according to figures from the United Nations Health Agency. The health crisis comes as medical workers in Ituri province begin a 2-day strike, citing poor working conditions and failure by the government to honor promised benefits.
The Democratic Republic of Congo has so far reported 1,624 cases and 521 deaths linked to the Ebola Bundibugyo virus. This outbreak, which has a case fatality rate of 32%, has no approved vaccine or treatments. The trial of 2 potential treatments against the Bundibugyo virus began in the DRC on the 2nd of July 2026, where more than 1,200 treatment doses were made available.
There is also efforts that are ongoing for a prophylaxis trial led by the National Institute for Biomedical Research and its partners.
As cases surge in the DRC, health workers in Ituri province have downed their tools, citing a lack of payment and adequate PPE for their work.
Yes, there is an issue with the payment. Some payment have arrived, but it is very complicated, and the government had limited opportunities to bring all the money at once in Ituri. So there are a group of people who have not been yet paid.
The workers have also complained of arrogance by providers deployed from Congo's capital, Kinshasa, and the excessive use of labor from other provinces without prioritizing local workers in Ituri.
So we will bring new health workers in so that they can be trained, for example, in case management. We will, for example, use the CME treatment centers here in Bunia.
As the Ebola outbreak intensifies in the DRC, WHO member states have reconvened to negotiate the remaining section of the landmark pandemic agreement struck last year, aimed at avoiding a repeat of the international panic seen during the COVID-19 pandemic. In the DRC, more than 10,000 contacts are being monitored with an overall follow-up rate of 82%. Treatment centers have been established, providing approximately 700 beds across 22 facilities, with efforts underway to add 300 more beds.
We continue to face major challenge. Existing treatment centers are operating at around 90% occupancy, placing significant pressure on the response.
To support the Ebola response in the DRC, the WHO requires $115 million, of which 32% has been received to date. Elizabeth Atieno, TV47.
The Law Society of Kenya has announced a nationwide march this Friday, July the 10th, following the shocking deaths of two advocates, Esther Wairimu and Edward Muthe. The LSK has described the killings as a direct attack on the legal profession, the administration of justice, and the rule of law. Udoni Brenda has more.
The family of 33-year-old advocate Edward Kariuki is demanding justice after he was found murdered in the Sabaki area of Athi River on Sunday morning. Muthe, who
All right, we apologize for that particular mishap of the clip, but this is the story now.
A profession under siege. That is the grim picture painted by the Law Society of Kenya following the tragic killings of Kenya Forest Service legal expert Esther Wairimu and advocate Edward Muthe. In a hard-hitting statement, LSK has called for the immediate formation of a multi-agency team to investigate the killings, as well as a thorough forensic audit of all land matters handled by the Kenya Forest Service Legal Department, hinting at a potential connection between the advocate's work and her death. LSK is further demanding enhanced protection for its members and transparent public updates on the progress of the homicide investigations. Following these killings, lawyers countrywide have now vowed to take to the streets this Friday. In Nairobi, advocates plan to converge at the Milimani Law Courts before marching to the National Police Service headquarters to present a petition demanding swift investigations. The body of Esther Wairimu Keige, the legal services manager at Kenya Forest Service, was discovered on Monday, July 6, 2026, inside an isolated coffee plantation in Area 4, Karimenu, Juja. The discovery came nearly 4 weeks after she was officially reported missing on June 10, 2026. Investigative records indicate that her last known movements were traced to the Senate Hotel in Juja, where she had gone to inquire about gym membership fees. Her family has stated that she has been battling chronic depression and that this is not the first time she has wandered away from home. However, prominent human rights defender Boniface Mwangi has raised concerns. He publicly claimed that Wairimu had previously expressed severe discomfort over pressure to sign unspecified and controversial documents at her KFS office and vowed never to return to her workplace. The family has requested privacy and has not verified these workplace allegations. Separately, Advocate Edward Muthee Kariuki, a 30-year-old High Court advocate and proprietor of Edward Kariuki Law Firm along Kiambu Road, was found murdered on Sunday morning, July 5th, 2026, outside his residence in Athi River. These back-to-back deaths within a single week have sent shockwaves through Kenya's legal fraternity. LSK maintains that these tragic losses cannot be treated as mere coincidences.
To advocate for the rule of law.
Modhoni Brenda for TV47.
And staying with this story, a cloud of grief hangs over the family of Edward Kariuki Muthee, a 33-year-old advocate who was found dead in Athi River. His lifeless body was discovered on Sunday morning in the Sabaki area, bearing horrific head injuries inflicted by a sharp weapon. The lawyer who operated a law firm along Kiambu Road was found without his mobile phone after failing to return home. Our reporter Michelle Mwangi has the details.
The family of 33-year-old advocate Edward Kariuki is demanding justice after he was found murdered in the Sabaki area of Athi River on Sunday morning. Muthee, who operated a law firm along Kiambu Road, had left home but failed to return as expected. Concerned relatives launched a search before his lifeless body was discovered in Sabaki at around noon.
They had said that he had a deep cut along the back of which was very deep.
A post-mortem conducted at Shalom Community Hospital established that the advocate died from severe head injuries inflicted by a sharp object, confirming that he was violently attacked.
It was a heavy, sharp metal which have gone deep up to the level of going to the brain. According to the post-mortem, you see that no matter what, it could not have survived.
The killing has heightened concern over security in Sabaki, with residents and neighbors saying cases of muggings have become increasingly common. They are now urging security agencies to intensify patrols and protect residents from rising crime.
Recent past, we have seen a spiral increase of insecurity cases, including petty muggings, home breakages.
The police in Athi River, the larger Ministry of Interior, it's important that we fix matter security in our area, largely across the nation.
What I'm looking for is to see that all perpetrators of this act to are brought to book.
Meanwhile, detectives from the Directorate of Criminal Investigations in Athi River have launched forensic investigations to determine whether the advocate was specifically targeted or fell victim to criminal violence. Michelle Mwangi, TV47.
Now, 5 health workers' unions have issued a 3-day ultimatum to Kakamega Governor Fernandez Baraza to ensure the signing of a recognition agreement, warning of a county-wide strike if the process is not completed. The unions accuse the county attorney's office of delaying the agreement after officials allegedly failed to attend a scheduled signing ceremony. They say the agreement is critical in establishing a formal labor relationship and negotiating workers' terms.
Be divided, we shall never be divided. We shall never be divided, for the union makes us strong.
Viva health workers, viva!
Viva!
Viva Kefu, viva!
Viva!
Viva Namolo, viva!
Viva!
Viva UKS, viva!
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 Kenya has launched the Women Peace and Security Program 2026-2028 in an initiative aimed at strengthening women's leadership and participation in peace governance. The program, a partnership between the State Department for Gender and Affirmative Action and the Embassy of Denmark in Kenya, seeks to advance women's role in peace building, promote accountability and support inclusive security governance.
Since our establishment, we have been working on peace building and conflict transformation in Kenya. We've been working across many types of conflicts, resource conflict, political conflicts, preventing and countering violent extremism, but also community conflicts on different issues. And because of that focus of our work, we started having a discussion a few years back with the Embassy of Sweden on how to strengthen the inclusion and involvement of women on matters of peace.
Right, time for business now, where premium banking is entering a new era as financial institutions target high net worth and globally mobile customers with exclusive services designed around convenience, travel, and lifestyle needs. I&M Bank has launched the MasterCard World Elite Metal Credit Card in Kenya, offering cardholders access to premium benefits including airport lounge access, concierge services, travel and medical insurance, as well as exclusive experiences through MasterCard's priceless platform.
Lifestyle and experience card to the proposition for the premium banking. So it's an additional benefit for our premium customers, whether they're looking for concierge services, and it's really about giving them that seamless, frictionless experience. So today, there are a lot of Kenyans and businesses of Kenyans that are growing exponentially. The world-class businesses. We've got owners of these businesses who are frequently investing globally, traveling globally, and this premium card really speaks to their needs for when they're out there traveling.
SMEs, the owners of mid-cap SMEs, they were the ones who are going to benefit from this card because they travel a lot and they want to go and do their business in far and away, trade with different countries. So if the relationship angle is strong, that means I'm listening to the client's needs, and now I can take a product, position it and say, hey, I've curated this beautiful product for you.
SACCOs are moving beyond traditional lending by introducing financial wellness programs that equip members with skills in financial planning, investment and business management. Their approach is helping small and medium-sized enterprises improve cash flow management, build sustainable business and strengthen long-term financial performance. Financial institutions are reimagining their branch networks using strategic expansion to reach new customers in fast-growing commercial centers while improving access to banking services. The shift is aimed at enhancing customer experience, deepening financial inclusion and supporting small and medium-sized businesses through a balance of physical outlets and modern banking solutions.
It is well anchored in our strategic plan, where we check on branch optimization, really focusing on areas where we have opportunities where we can expand our reach for our customers, and especially the business customers. As a bank, we are focusing in positioning ourselves as a preferred bank for biashara.
And President William Ruto has signed into law the Sovereign Wealth Fund Act, creating a framework to preserve and invest revenues from Kenya's petroleum and mineral resources for future generations. The law establishes a stabilization fund to shield the economy from financial shocks, as well as a future generation fund to invest resource earnings. It also provides for independent management, parliamentary oversight, and public accountability in the administration of the fund.
undertaken by...
We are desirous of being as a nation. But on the other hand, we have limited resources on how to deliver on these very critical infrastructure projects. The National Infrastructure Fund creates the bridge between the infrastructure projects that we need for our growth and the resources that will unlock the capital for us to implement these projects. I will give you an example. We just signed the contract for the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. It's going to be a 150 billion shilling project. We cannot build that project using our budget because it's heavy. So we will not borrow and we will not add additional taxes. What's going to happen is that we're going to use 20 billion shillings of the money we raised under our National Infrastructure Fund to crowd in the balance of the money from the private sector.
Our economic policies are not just about managing the present, but it also must focus on building the future, and our delivery guardrails built around fiscal discipline, sound planning, and broad participation.
KCB Bank has partnered with MasterCard to introduce an Islamic finance payment solution under its Sahal banking offering, expanding access to Sharia-compliant financial services. The bank has rolled out the Sahal card, giving customers a secure platform to manage their spending while accessing travel and lifestyle benefits in line with Islamic finance principles. KCB has also launched their Sahal agency banking network, allowing customers to deposit funds.
I want to assure you, on behalf of the Sharia Advisory Committee, we've done our best to ensure there is no riba in that card. We have made sure there is no gharar, uncertainty. You get the card, but you don't know what it entails. Again, it avoids gambling. And again, to the best of our ability, you cannot use it for haram purposes.
Islamic finance is an important part of our broader growth strategy as it complements our commercialization agenda in digital payments, MSME financing, women-led enterprises, as well as ecosystem and value chain banking propositions.
The solving of that problem was where KCB product team, who are an amazing team, came together with us, and we said, let's put this together and let's bring that value out.
Oh my God, he left me. Nitumie any line.
Uko nje kuna Wi-Fi.
Why? Hi-Fi?
Wait, so what do we call this dish again?
I have no idea.
The
cucumbers are there specifically for my beauty routine.
Tamulini kero make a beauty product.
Na ameenda.
Tunafaa tukuwe na logo yetu. Like, si ni brand already.
You won't entertain divas.
No. I'm not dealing with a man child.
Amazing. Nishapenda hii energy.
Sundays at 8:30 p.m. on TV47. Saturday at 8:30 p.m.
My father used to tell me that a hotel is the home for travelers. I guess I forgot that. Recently, it's been more of a mirror of my own ambition. We might fail. We will probably fail, but not for a lack of trying. So for the last time, and the first time, welcome to Connect In, the best experience in Eastern Central Africa and its environs.
Saturday at 8:30 p.m. on TV47. Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m.
This is a very serious place.
I see that.
Surely. Hey, Nyumba.
This is the place.
Just for a few days.
Rule number 2.
Kwani Google inajua maisha yangu wewe?
That's my seat. It's a chair. It was hers.
You're new here? Yes. You learned the rhythm.
This place is run by structure. Structure.
It is a system. Ni venye tu ni system haisikizi. And what happens if something you haven't chosen enters your day?
I remove it.
That's not always going to be possible here.
Then you are going to have a problem.
Noted.
What are you planning? To escape from a resort?
This is not a resort, my friend. This is a storage.
Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m. on TV47.
I just want to be in the zone.
Nairobi, where the hustle never sleeps and neither do the scammers.
Link Up, we are talking about something that's affecting all of us. We are talking trust.
We're diving into the campus life.
I just want to be in the zone.
Stay fresh, stay safe,
Stay linked up.
My father used to tell me that a hotel is the home for travelers. I guess I forgot that. Recently, it's been
Tonight, Dr. Martin Olo, advocate of the High Court, also Brian Weke, lawyer and political analyst, will be joining us. Fred Okango, strategic advisor, and Professor Gitile Naituli will be discussing a raft of issues as well, looking at the lay of the land, how it is politically right now, and of course also delving deeper on the question of the Raka land petition that we know, of course, right now 1.5 billion shillings is being pursued by the EACC. We'll be questioning also the advocates regarding this and other stories as well. Don't go away, you're watching TV47 Prime.